Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm honored to welcome you to the University of Haifa Honorary Doctorate Conferment Ceremony, Doctor of Philosophy, honoris causa, the university's highest accolade bestowed upon Dr. Ner Oxman and Mr. Bill Ackman. As in all academic ceremonies and in true University of Haifa fashion, I kindly ask the audience to stand while I'll introduce the members of the university's academic procession as they enter the auditorium. Please remain standing until all members. Professor Aaron Geva Kleinberger, Professor Orna Rabinovich Aini, University Deans, Professor Irit Akirav, Dean of the Graduate Studies Authority and Head of the Bloom Graduate School, Professor Ophir Alon, Dean of the Faculty of Natural Sciences, Jalski, Dean of the Faculty of Law, the University of Haifa Administration, Professor Oren Gazalayal, Vice President and Dean of Research and Development, Mr. Gidon Hersher, Vice President for Transformational Philanthropy and Global Resource Development, Professor Tali Katz-Gil, Vice President for Global Engagement, Sharon Zaid, Vice President and CEO, Professor Muna Maroon, Rector, Professor Gur Al-Roi, President, Dr. Michal Amir Salkin, Chair of the Board of Governors, Hooding Dr. Ner Oxman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. My name is Yuna Leibzon, and I am truly honored to host this evening's proceedings. Tonight, I will guide you through the ceremony and introduce our distinguished guests and speakers. I'm a journalist and anchor at Channel 12 News, recently returned to Israel from New York after serving as the U.S. correspondent for the past 6 years. Before we begin, it is my honor to present a recorded greeting from the President of the State of Israel.
Shalom, dear friends, from the President's residence in Jerusalem. It gives me so much pleasure to join the chorus of congratulations at this very special moment, when two highly deserving individuals, Bill Ackman and Ner Oxman, received this moving distinction as honorary doctors of the University of Haifa. This public act of recognition is a tribute not only to our friends Bill and Ner, but to the core human qualities they represent: leadership, moral resolve, and wisdom. My friends, in times that call us into communion with what is most true, human courage is always what we meet at the core. Choosing what is right over what is easy, speaking up for truth, even when it is unpopular, showing up where we are needed, even when it is uncomfortable, and holding on to a deep faith in life, even when so much has come undone. Dear Bill and Ner, both of you, in your own stories, in your own right, embody this courage and resilience. Like Israel, which rose up on the ashes of tragedy to create a national home for the Jewish people, and again from the catastrophe of October 7th, you also have labored. You too have cultivated, created, and grown, and have risen up from loss and setbacks with a bold faith in life. You've each separately and together used your positions to speak up for what really matters, to speak up for our hostages, to stand up with our army, to stand up with Israel, to fight anti-Semitism. On behalf of the State of Israel, I thank you both. And I join so many in congratulating you now and saying to you, as we say in Hebrew, Alu v'atzlichu. May you go from strength to strength. And it is also a great pleasure of mine to congratulate this stellar institution, Dr. Michal Amir Salkin, and all of the university's leadership, staff, supporters, and student body. I thank university leadership for cultivating a culture where the richness of our social tapestry, that beautiful Israeli diversity of beliefs and opinions, becomes an engine of force for cross-fertilization and growth in times of crisis and routine as well. Haifa University, which is a university which I truly love, has stepped forward as a valuable resource to the people of Israel's north and the entire nation of Israel during trauma and displacement, and woven itself into the story of resilience and rebuilding that is Israel. So, dear friends, may we quickly see the restoration of safety to our borders, the realization of our deepest aspiration for peace, and immediate release of every last one of our brothers and sisters, our hostages, so that we may be whole again. Thank you. Shalom to all of you, and bless you.
I would like to thank the President for his greeting. I now have the honor of inviting Dr. Michal Amir Salkin, Chair of the Board of Governors, to deliver her welcome remarks.
Good evening. Dr. Ner Oxman, Mr. Bill Ackman, distinguished guests, members of the Board of Governors, university leadership, colleagues, and friends. I am Michal Amir Salkin, and it is an honor to address you tonight for the first time as the Chair of the Board of Governors of the University of Haifa. The honorary doctorate is not merely a ceremonial degree. This is one of the most significant ways in which a university expresses its values and its gratitude. It is how we honor people whose work, both academic and practical, has expanded knowledge and advanced society. Tonight, we celebrate two extraordinary individuals. Dr. Ner Oxman's pioneering work in material ecology uses advanced technology to restore humanity's relationship as part of nature, not separate from it. Her fascinating projects include bacteria that produce a material which can replace plastics for 3D printing, a shelter built of natural materials that are biodegradable and so return nutrients to the surrounding soil, a system that allows silk to be harvested without killing the silkworms. Ner's innovations will inspire designers and scientific researchers to work together to create a more beautiful and sustainable future. Bill Ackman has made his mark on the world as a bold investor, a generous and strategic philanthropist, and a principled social leader. He uses his influence and his courage to promote education, responsibility, and opportunity. His belief in higher education as a force for progress resonates deeply with the mission of our university. And being the mother of two children who just went through the American college application process, I want to personally thank you for promoting education that teaches our children how to think, so they can discover ways to solve humanity's problems rather than perpetuating them. Ner and Bill, you both reflect the values at the heart of the University of Haifa: excellence in academic research, collaboration across disciplines, and an unwavering commitment to social responsibility. Tonight, we welcome you into our community because this honorary doctorate not only recognizes your achievements, it celebrates the beginning of an enduring relationship anchored in a shared vision and commitment to a stronger Israel, especially our beloved North. So on behalf of the Board of Governors, I extend our warmest congratulations and deepest gratitude. We proudly welcome you into the University of Haifa family. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amir Salkin, for your words and for your leadership. At this time, I would like to invite the university's president, Professor Gur Al-Roi, to deliver his greetings and remarks. Professor Al-Roi, the podium is yours.
Good evening, University of Haifa, distinguished guests, faculty members, Chair of the Board of Governors, Dr. Michal Zalkin-Amir, Chair of the Executive Committee, Dov Weiglas, and last but not least, dear Bill and Neri. I am deeply moved to stand here before you today at this honorary Doctor of Philosophy conferment ceremony and to express my profound appreciation and gratitude to you, Neri, and to you, Bill. A few words about the University of Haifa and its unique place in both the Israeli and global academic landscape. The University of Haifa is the University of Northern Israel. Its vision and mission are grounded in the belief that academia must not remain secluded in an ivory tower detached from society. Rather, our academic work seeks to engage with society and transform it for the better. The research conducted at our university is, by its very nature, applied research. Its purpose is to benefit Israeli society and at times humanity as a whole. We strive to bring about meaningful change, and many of our researchers are actively engaged in projects that directly impact the communities around us. Our academic and societal work stands firmly on two pillars: data-driven, rooted in rigorous research and evidence-based scholarships, and community-rooted, work deeply embedded in and responsive to the needs of the society and profound recognition that we as a university are part of it. An academic institution that forgets its social responsibility will struggle to justify its existence, and students will turn away from it. The war that forced us upon on October 7 forever changed Israeli society and Middle East. On October 8, approximately 100,000 residents of northern Israel were evacuated from their home. It was a dark and painful hour for our country, but it was also one of the finest hours of the University of Haifa. We opened our student dormitories to displaced families. We provide scholarship to students who were called to serve in the war. We supported faculty members who were called to reserve duty. We offer psychological support to our students and faculties. We care for and continue to care for survivors of the Nova Festival massacre at Kibbutz Re'im. We established a scholarships fund in memory of our students and alumni who fell in the war. And we stood by our students and faculty whose loved ones were kidnapped. A few months ago, we launched the Home Again campaign, Restore and Rebuild the North through science, innovation, data-driven research rooted in community priorities and focused on real-world outcomes. Advanced research labs, industrial park for high-tech companies within the University of Haifa boundaries, scholarships, and housing for students and researchers. In doing so, we will attract young families that will transform not only the university, but the entire North. As the evacuees gradually return home, we are there to help and support them. We do not aim to replace the government or national institution. Instead, we leverage our research in education, health professions, welfare, and legal clinics for our Faculty of Law to assist countless Israelis whose lives were shattered by the war. This is academia at its very best, serving society and striving to be worthy of its trust. Neri, this is the university from which you receive an honorary doctorate today. We are proud to bestow this honor upon you for your extraordinary contribution to the Jewish people, to the Jewish community in the United States, and to the State of Israel and the University of Haifa. Dear Bill, I would like to extend my gratitude wearing all three of my hats: historian, Israeli citizen, and president of the University of Haifa. As a historian, I often tell my students that the State of Israel is a joint venture between those who made Aliyah and settled here and the Jews of the diaspora, particularly American Jewry. This is formula that has proven itself time and again. The connection between us and the people of Israel and American Jewry is an inseparable part of Israel's national security, and we must continue to nurture and strengthen it. Your partnership, Bill, as an American Jew, together with Neri, an Israeli from Haifa, embodies the unique and symbolic bond between the two largest Jewish communities in the world. Through your work for the benefit of Israel and Israel's society, you strengthen Israel's security. And for that, we offer our deepest gratitude for you. Now, as Israeli citizen, since October 7, Israeli society owes you a tremendous depth of gratitude. Your voice has echoed around the world, and your unwavering fight against anti-Semitism, especially across the United States and on the college campuses, have been invaluable. History teaches us that we must never remain silent and never bow our heads in the face of hatred and anti-Semitism. Academia, which was intended to be a symbol to tolerance and diversity of thought, has instead become a petri dish where the bacteria of Jew hatred multiply on campuses, while the president of America Elite University remained in silence. You, Bill, were among the first to recognize the danger of the silent, and you did not hesitate to stand up, speak out, and take a clear, firm stand. As Hillel says in the Ethics of the Father, Pirkei Avot, in a place where there are no men, strive to be a man. You, Bill, are that man, a mensch. As President of the University of Haifa, thank you for your unwavering support in establishing the Rivka Oksman Student Plaza, a plaza overlooking beautiful city of Haifa, where students will meet, connect, fall in love, and plan the future, all inspired by Rivka's extraordinary spirit. Thank you for your trust and partnership. Dear Neri, your groundbreaking work, merging science, design, technology, and art, has transformed the way we think about the future of design. Through your creation, you dissolve the boundaries between disciplines and offer the world a new design language. At the heart of your vision are nature, humanity, and the environment seamlessly interwoven. You seek innovative solutions for sustainability, ecological balance, and diffusion of culture and technology. In your work, Neri, materials breathe, structures grow, and design itself become a living organism. Your vision was nurtured here in Haifa, a city to which you are deeply connected and devoted, and by your parents, the inspiring architect Rivka, Zichra Livracha, and Robert, may he live a long and healthy life. You are a daughter of vibrant, diverse city where mountain and sea meet. From these local roots on Mount Carmel, you embarked on breathtaking international journey, always carrying with you the spirit of Israeli curiosity, creativity, and courage to break boundaries. Your aspiration to create a better, more tolerant society and to bring healing to the human suffering that surround us is worthy of the highest admiration and deepest gratitude. The University of Haifa itself, situated on the mountain and overlooking the sea and the city, shares your unique perspective. Like you, our university strives to connect worlds, linking academic knowledge with social impact and bridging design with research. Through our School of Design, the only one of its kind embedded within Research University in Israel, we seek to follow in your footsteps, to push boundaries, and to unite design, science, and technology in shaping a better future. Dear Neri, on behalf of the University of Haifa community, we wish to express our heartfelt gratitude for your trust in us, for your support and dedication, and above all, for the strong bond that has been forged between us. I offer you both a multitude thanks. Thank you, and thank you again. And now, I invite you to join me in watching a short film that opens the windows into the heart of our university, its DNA, vision, and achievement.
Between the Carmel Mountains and the Mediterranean, the University of Haifa reflects the spirit of its city, diverse, vibrant, alive. 18,000 students across 7 faculties, half of them the first in their families to enter higher education, and most from Israel's periphery. Together, they create a living mosaic of the country itself. Our mission begins with curiosity and the drive to innovate. Marine scientists push the frontiers of exploration, using advanced technologies to study the deep sea, climate, and biodiversity. Across disciplines, researchers harness the power of AI, transforming law, health, education, and business, reshaping how knowledge itself is created. At the new School of Design, technology and creativity converge, turning bold ideas into solutions that change the way we live, work, and connect. From trauma research to mental health, from nursing to health sciences, our innovations strengthen communities and ensure care reaches every corner of Israel. Israel faces urgent healthcare challenges. This fall, the Herta and Paul Amir School of Medicine opens its doors, guided by the motto, Integrated Medicine from Day One. Students train in hospitals, in community clinics, and in digital health, learning medicine as both science and service. At a time when physicians are in short supply, especially in the north, our school brings hope for a healthier tomorrow. On our campus, diversity is not just present, it is embraced. Jewish, Arab, Druze, Christian, and international students learn side by side. The Free Center for Shared Society offers a bold vision, not coexistence, but co-creation. Here, dialogue becomes collaboration, and collaboration becomes action. Students working together to shape a shared future that honors every voice and every community. A vision of what Israel can become, beginning right here in Haifa. We stand with those who serve, offering tailored support for students called to reserve duty, and academic rehabilitation for wounded veterans. Our commitment reaches far into the community. Legal clinics expanding access to justice, educators and social workers partnering with schools and NGOs, and healthcare training that strengthens the North. From the sea to the Carmel, from discovery to innovation, from resilience to renewal, the University of Haifa transforms knowledge into action. Here, ideas become solutions, students become leaders, and every achievement ripples outward, shaping communities, strengthening society, and building Israel's future.
Thank you, President Al-Roi, for your engaging message and the film, which is truly inspiring. We look forward to the year ahead under your leadership. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful musical treat from our Department of Music. Please welcome to the stage vocalist Eden Busselfeit, Liat Nahir on the violin, Dr. Zohar Forshian on the piano, and Ilyas Cherbakov on the cello to perform Idan Reichel's song, Mima'amakim. Enjoy.
ממעמקים קראתי אלייך, בואי אליי, בשובך יחזור, שוב האור בעיניי, לא גמור, לא עושה במגע בידייך, שיבוא ויעיר, למשמע כל צחוקך. ממעמקים קראתי אלייך, בואי אליי, מול ירח מאיר את דרכך שוב אליי, יפרסו ונפסו מול מגע של ידיים, ואוזנייך לוחשו מי זה קורא לך הלילה, תקשיבי, מי שר וקול אלייך אל חלומך, מי שם נפשו שתהי מאושרת, מי ישים יד ויבנה את ביתך, מי ייתן חייו אתן חייו ישימם מתחתייך מכעפר רגלייך יחיה ויהפך מכל אוהבייך מכל רוח רעה יצילך ממאבקים.
Thank you for this moving and breathtaking performance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've been waiting for. Let us now watch a tribute video honoring Mr. Bill Ackman.
Talk to us about what the key elements are of success in this world.
Let's talk about Bill Ackman.
Bill Ackman.
Bill Ackman.
I want to check in with Bill Ackman.
The world's most successful hedge fund manager.
One of the most successful Wall Street investors.
A legendary activist investor.
One of the most provocative and interesting investors in the country.
Bill is a planet. There's the universe and then there's Bill Ackman.
And did you say to your parents, I want to be a hedge fund investor?
No. My dad told me that I should never work for anyone else because they'll never pay me what I'm worth. And then he tried to convince me to work for him.
My biggest driver in life was independence. I wanted to be able to speak freely, live my life, and that motivated me to be successful.
He's built Pershing Square into one of the most successful and listened to firms in all of Wall Street.
Pharma, retail, railroads, diet supplements, restaurants, music, streaming. He shorts. He goes long, way long.
My personal business plan was always to be super successful and then take the resources I don't need and then redeploy them in a way that I thought was best for society.
In addition to being one of the world's most renowned investors, Bill and his wife are also substantial philanthropists.
With success also comes responsibility. If I see something that's a problem in society, I want to do something about it.
In 2006, he co-founded the Pershing Square Foundation.
Philanthropically, we have invested in a wide range of initiatives. Everything from early stage cancer research to backing entrepreneurs, solving problems like development in farming in Kenya, to what's called the Pershing Square Signature Ticket Initiative to create more accessibility for Broadway quality theater.
The Pershing Square Zone Foundation funds very innovative research, especially people at that early stage in their careers at the forefront of cancer research.
We're already seeing that this investment in my laboratory and other laboratories is really paying off.
Thank you, Bill, for your incredible generosity and your commitment to every project you undertake.
The short form description of me is never really an accurate one, I would say.
Right.
I'm more nuanced. I remember meeting a CEO actually in the 1990s, and he said, Bill, I think you have activist tendencies. And he didn't mean it in a very positive way. I think actually activism is a very positive thing. My parents have told me since I was a child that I never listen. And what they get wrong is I always listen, okay, but I make my own decisions.
And now, the hooding ceremony for Mr. Bill Ackman. A University of Haifa tradition, we honor our recipients with hooders who are dear friends and supporters of the university. This is our way of welcoming our honorary doctorates into our family and community. I invite Dr. Doron Livnat and Dr. Sami Segol, both recipients of honorary doctorates from the university, as well as valued friends, to place the hood. I also invite Rector Professor Maroon and President Al-Roi, who will partake in the reading of the scroll. Dr. Doron Livnat is a businessman and serial social entrepreneur who for the past 25 years has devoted his life and energy to Tikkun Olam. He is the founder of the Weiss Livnat Center for Holocaust Studies at the University of Haifa, where he also serves as a valued member of the Board of Governors. In 2016, the university proudly conferred upon him an honorary doctorate in recognition of his visionary leadership and enduring commitment to education, society, and culture. Dr. Sami Sagol is a distinguished Israeli entrepreneur and philanthropist, renowned for his transformative impact on science, health, and education. The Sagol Neuroscience and Longevity Network, which fosters multidisciplinary research and therapy, has helped position Israel as a leading global hub in these fields. At the Department of Neurobiology, the Emily Sagol Center for Creative Arts Therapies, and the Sagol Lab for Evolution Research, Sami Sagol has received honorary doctorates from prominent universities, including the University of Haifa, and prestigious international honors such as French Legions of Honor and Italy's Order of the Star of Italy. I am deeply honored to invite Mr. Bill Ackman onto the stage.
Ackman, in recognition of his bold business leadership and outstanding success, the fruits of which we are directed toward advancing the public good, grounded in ideology, Zionism, and a deep love for the people and the state of Israel. For his steadfast dedication to extensive philanthropic activity and generous support of global initiative in health, education, bridging social gaps, and promoting culture and the arts. For his courageous and highly influential public efforts to combat anti-Semitism, particularly on American university campuses. And for his principal position, widely recognized through his tireless advocacy and pro-Israel public diplomacy. For his encouragement and confidence in Israel's startup nations, demonstrated through significant investment and active engagement in the local economy. For embodying the values of generosity, compassion, and social responsibility, and serving as a model of inspiration for future generations. And for his generous support of the University of Haifa, reflecting his deep belief in the power of young leadership and innovation as a strong foundation for securing the future of Israel and its northern region. Thank you.
Dr. Ackman, please come forward to the podium to deliver your remarks.
Wow, this is quite beautiful. Thank you so much. After this morning, I went back with Ner to the room and pulled out my laptop and put together a few words. They gave me 9 minutes, but I have no idea how long this is. But it's what I've deeply felt. Sometimes in life, it's interesting to think about how you got to where you are. If you'd asked me a year and a half ago whether I'd be receiving an honorary degree from an institution of higher learning, let alone accepting one, I would have had to say the likelihood would be very close to zero. Why? Well, the story begins in the early days after October 7th, when I became intensely focused on higher education, initially at my own alma mater. Well, October 7th was one of the worst days in history, and I remember it, unfortunately, well. October 8th was also a very, very bad day. On the morning of October 8th at 10 a.m., 34 Harvard Student Organization posted a public letter. They issued a written statement which stated that Israel was solely responsible for the acts of Hamas, and the terrorists were still active on Israeli soil. What, I ask, could possibly have happened at Harvard that so many students would take the side of terrorists in one of the most vile acts of terrorism the world had ever seen? So I flew up to Cambridge and went on a deep dive to understand the genesis of, where did this come from? What ideology provided the framework for the student organization statement? And I learned a lot that I didn't know. I learned that students had been taught to understand the world according to a framework that explained that the world was a bicameral one divided between oppressors and oppressed, in a so-called intersectional pyramid of privilege where success was demonized and victimization was encouraged and valued. The success of Jews, our disproportional share of Nobel laureates, our representation in the academy, our success in business and as entrepreneurs, was according to this ideology somehow, or is according to this ideology somehow, due to the oppression of less fortunate people. And it wasn't just the Jews. Asian Americans, white men also belonged in the oppressor group according to this ideology. When I met with Jewish and non-Jewish students on campus and members of the faculty, I learned that this oppressor-oppressed ideology was amplified due to mandates coming from the Office of DEI at Harvard. Diversity, equity, actually, and belonging, as they called it, an initiative that was launched at Harvard, which greatly increased in importance and in prominence on campus after the death of George Floyd and the launch of the Black Lives Matter movement. And as I began to piece together the sources of the problem, I realized that a profound ideological framework had been inculcated in the minds of students, and that university departments had been captured by this ideology, where meritocratic excellence was no longer the criteria for admission, or for one's PhD, or for university appointments. While I regularly visited the Harvard campus, I taught a few classes each year at the business school, and I occasionally did sort of an open mic with students, I'd heard none of this oppressor-oppressed ideology. Instead, I had naively thought that diversity, equity, and inclusion meant how the words were defined in the dictionary. Once made into an acronym, DEI, however, I realized the words diversity, equity, inclusion had become Orwellian words. I strongly believe that diversity is inherently a good thing for universities, for businesses, for organizations and society, and by that I mean diversity in its broadest sense, in its various forms, including viewpoint diversity, a form of diversity particularly important for an institution of higher learning. How can one learn if one isn't exposed to the broadest range of ideas and viewpoints and opinions? A university which directly or indirectly limits what it deems to be acceptable speech through censorship, self-censorship, cancel culture, or otherwise is not a place conducive to learning. It's an institution designed for indoctrination, and a very expensive one at that. Well, the world where equity means fairness, under DEI, equity became equality of outcome. According to the DEI ideology, if any outcome, whether it's an academic appointment, your place in a corporate hierarchy, your test results were different for any group's percentage representation of the population, the DEI movement told us that this result was an indication of racism or due to discrimination and had to be fixed by tipping the scale. So if the test results didn't produce the desired outcome, the test had to be changed. The test was racist. It had to be graded differently, or it had to be canceled. If AP math classes yielded lower grades for one ethnic group versus another, the class would no longer be offered. And classes were canceled at schools, high schools around the country. And with respect to the word inclusion, who would be opposed to a society, university, or other organization being inclusive? Someone once said, every great cause begins as a movement, it becomes a business, and eventually it degenerates into a racket, and DEI has precisely followed this path. And what likely started out as a well-meaning initiative became a dangerous ideological racket that has caused enormous harm, led to illegal discrimination based on skin color, sexual identity, and gender, and played a critical role in, unfortunately, the rise of anti-Semitism and anti-Israel sentiment on campus and around the world. One of the most dangerous elements of DEI ideology was its belief in equality of outcome. An equality of outcome system, otherwise known as socialism, has a long and failed history, but still manages to periodically emerge, inspiring a new generation of advocates. One need look no further than the New York City mayoral election, which I'm quite concerned that the next mayor of New York is going to be a socialist and worse. Somehow, a socialist candidate can be inspiring for an upcoming generation uneducated in the adverse effects of socialism in practice. I've always believed that the most fortunate should help the least fortunate, and that our system should be designed in such a way as to maximize the size of the overall pie, so that will enable us to provide an economic system that enables us to offer quality of life, great education, housing, and health care for all. America and Israel are rich countries, and both countries have made massive progress over the decades toward achieving these goals. We still have much work to do. But that's not a reason to abandon the path we're on. Steps taken on the path to socialism will inevitably reverse this progress and ultimately impoverish us all. We've seen this movie many times. We need to take the younger generations to visit Cuba, Venezuela, or study the former Soviet Union for them to viscerally understand what oppression really means. The bottom line is that education really matters. What is taught to our children will determine the future course of history. We've made grave errors in allowing radical ideologues to capture some of the most important institutions of higher education in our country. And unfortunately, the problem doesn't stop there. Kindergarten through 12th grade education is replete with many of the same problems as higher ed. And the problem really begins there. We've got a lot more work to do. All of the above brings me back to the University of Haifa and helps explain why I found myself here. University of Haifa has an incredibly diverse student body comprised of one of the largest cohorts of students from low-income backgrounds in Israel. U of H also manages to have a diverse faculty and student body comprised of Jews, Christians, Arabs, the Druze, among others. It's done so in a highly inclusive manner. Uh-oh, I'm missing a page. Found it. Highly inclusive fashion. And at a time in a country and a region where such an accomplishment is rarely so successfully achieved. Importantly, University of Haifa has achieved this outcome by selecting a faculty and student body for their excellence, not for their physical attributes, their gender, or other forms of their identity. Interestingly, the problems in higher ed began at the most elite institutions in the United States. Colleges with poorer student bodies did not have anti-Israel protests, encampments, or other disruptions, as the students were too busy working hard to advance themselves in life, to get the education and skills they need to get a great job or profession. These students viewed their education as a privilege, and they treated it as such. During the early days of my efforts at Harvard and other similar schools, someone posted a chart on X, my favorite social media forum, which graphed university tuition against protests and the correlation between the two approach. One, the higher the tuition, the greater the number and virulence of the protests. Why? I think because instead of viewing their education as a privilege, the privileged have become captured by an ideology. One of the troubles with privilege is it can lead to a feeling of guilt for one's circumstance and lead one in search of a cause and vulnerable to capture by nice-sounding but fundamentally destructive ideologies. After October 7th, I spoke at Harvard and at Pace University, a low-cost university comprised mostly of immigrant students aspiring to improve their circumstance. And the comparison could not have been more stark. When I asked the dean of Pace University about protests and anti-Semitism on campus, he said they had none of that. He said, quote, "Our students don't have time to protest. They're studying hard, so when they graduate, they get a good job." I believe that one of the most important reasons for Israel's resilience is the requirement for mandatory military service. Today, most American youth have not been trained to fight for their nation and haven't had the opportunity to defend their country alongside other young people from different walks of life. It's something that I missed, and it's, on my life regrets. I wish I had that same opportunity to serve my country. I believe that the privilege that has come from our country's success and the fact that we've not been threatened by war in decades has weakened us. Our greatest generation, as it's known, is the generation that emerged and fought to save the world during World War II. The greatest generation was known for its resilience, its sacrifice, its contributions to our country. And after the war, they were known for their incredible work ethic, civil engagement, and their remarkable career and other accomplishments. This is among the reasons why I'm so optimistic about Israel. While being existentially threatened is not a fun way to live, and with periodic trips to the shelter, we had that a couple days ago, the grit and resilience of people that emerge thereafter bodes extremely well for Israel's future. I expect Israel will have many great generations, and after the events of the last 2 years, the generation that fought this war will be known decades from now as among the greatest of Israel's generations. With that, I have to share with you one more important reason why I'm standing before you in receipt of this important honor. And that's where love comes in. I met the stunningly gorgeous Dr. Oxman 8 years and 1 week ago to the day, and I fell immediately and profoundly in love. Well, many of you know of her incredible creativity, her brilliance, her beauty. You may be surprised to hear that these are not her most remarkable qualities. These other attributes include her extraordinary character, her ever-ending kindness, and her unfathomable human warmth. Every day I feel incredibly privileged to know her, let alone to have the opportunity to spend nearly every day and night with her. And for this privilege, I'm incredibly indebted to Haifa. There is clearly something in the air, the water, the land, and the community here that has produced this remarkable woman, and we need to therefore amplify her attributes around the world. After my first meeting with Ner, I felt an incredible obligation to advance her genome to another generation. Could best have been described as a certain biological urgency. I'm therefore pleased to say that my persistence and performance in this regard was rewarded with the conception of a remarkable child named Rika, now 6 years of age, who appears to already have decades of wisdom, a razor-sharp intelligence, and the beauty and warmth of her mother. That said, sadly, our ability to produce more of Neri's genetic lineage was cut short due to the limits of biology. As I met Neri later in life, while you may think she is 35, next February she'll be 50. Remarkable. Which led to my next thought. Perhaps if we can help the University of Haifa, we have a better chance of advancing Neri's wonderful attributes, as we'll be exposing ever greater numbers of intelligent and motivated souls to the air, water, land, and community here. I said earlier that love drives all human behavior. That's certainly true for this man. I'm here because I was incredibly fortunate to meet this remarkable woman on September 7th, 2017, and I will never let her go. I could not be more honored, incredibly grateful for this doctorate degree, which is going to come in very handy. When I met Neri, she didn't really have much respect for business people, hanging out with those academics. That's changed somewhat as she's worked to build her own business and now understands the challenges that now entails. But now I have become Dr. Ackman, and I can feel a little less intimidated. A little less intimidated by Dr. Oxman, as we now share the same honorific. So thank you, President Gur. Thank you, Michal. Thank you, the Board of Governors of Haifa, the faculty, the students, the administration that makes this institution great. You've given me this incredible honor, and you've elevated me in the eyes of my beloved. So thank you so much. And I have one more thought. So this week was a very special week for me. I came here Tuesday, 3 in the morning. Came for a whole bunch of reasons, political, business, obviously for our degree and this honor. I've never been thanked more in my life. I mean, the number of thank yous I've received. But I want to kind of return. So I have been active on X. I have worked hard on behalf of our people, on behalf of Israel. But I haven't taken the risks that a soldier takes when they roll into a war into Gaza. Israel's fight is the world's fight. It just happens to have started here. Unfortunately, it's a global battle. And I want you to know that I, Neri and I, but I would say Americans generally, with a few bad exceptions, are incredibly appreciative of Israel and it defending democracy, our values, and we're eternally grateful. So thank you so much. And wouldn't it be beautiful if the hostages can return home, the war can end, the Hamas is dismantled, and we begin working toward peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ackman, for your invaluable contribution. It is a great honor to have you here with us, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for all that you do. And of course, thank you to Haifa also. And now, let us watch together a tribute video honoring Dr. Ner Oxman.
My mom, who was very practical, had told me, if you're not married when you're 35, go to Israel. That's where Ner was born. Ner was, from the moment that she was born, a kind of miraculous being. I took photographs of her while she was 3 months old, and you could see the brilliance of the person at that time. It's the same brilliance that you can see in her face now.
My grandmother had a ginormous garden. It was on the top of a beautiful mountain called Mount Carmel, where we could see the sea. The garden had fig trees, apple trees, poppy seeds, various types of birds. The quality of the sun, the outdoors, the smell of the pine nuts. It was my Garden of Eden.
Ner is the most beautiful person I've ever met. And I mean that from like the center of her soul. She's the most caring, warm, considerate, thoughtful person. And she couples those remarkable qualities with brilliance, incredible creativity, beauty, elegance, grace.
She went to the Media Lab, where she turned out to be a miracle for the Media Lab. Right away they recognized the genius, which was genius, not brightness.
Ner came as a student in computation at the secondary master's level. We don't tend to hire our own. It's just a principle. But Ner was so exceptional that when we had a big search for a position in the Media Lab, she came out on top, So clearly excellent.
Ner is perhaps the best example of somebody who came and then integrated herself in the perfect intersection of design, science, and engineering.
I always ask not what science can do for design, but what can design do for science?
I came from a pretty hardcore neurotechnology group, but meeting Ner pretty much once was enough to kind of change my mind and my life course.
Here's to a new age of design, a new age of creation that takes us from a nature-inspired design to a design-inspired nature.
I think there's another several rounds of metamorphosis that she will go through. There's much more to come.
I get excited about the future. She's building an incredible company. They're trying to solve a lot of problems with respect to products and buildings and their impact on the environment. Her vision is, how do we design products that by virtue of the product's existence, the world is a better place?
Imagine someone who brings together the world of design and the world of nature to international acclaim. Imagine a leader in education and research who inspires future generations still to come. Imagine somebody whose style and professionalism is a role model. All of those qualities and more between is Ner Oxman.
she's the most remarkable person I've ever met. And I'm incredibly fortunate to spend my life with her.
Indeed, Dr. Oxman is an extraordinary woman, distinguished by her unique vision and creativity. Let's begin the hooding ceremony for Dr. Oxman. I invite to the stage Mr. Roni Dweck and Dr. Moshe Safdi, esteemed supporters of the university, to place the hood. I also invite, once again, President Alroi and the university's rector, Professor Maroon, who will read the scroll. Dr. Moshe Safdi is an internationally acclaimed architect whose work has left a profound mark on the field of architecture worldwide. His designs have inspired generations of professionals and helped shape Israel's built environment through local landmarks such as Yad Vashem, Mamila Mall, Ben Gurion International Airport, and the central planning of Jerusalem. In November 2022, during the university's Jubilee celebrations, we had the privilege of awarding him an honorary doctorate in recognition of his visionary leadership and his enduring commitment to education, society, and culture. The Oxman-Safdi friendship spans 2 generations. It began with Neri's parents, Rivka and Robert Oxman, and continues as a deep friendship to this day. Michal and Moshe continue to follow Neri's trajectory over the past 2 decades, ever since Neri's arrival at MIT. Tonight's ceremony marks a poignant full circle for 2 Haifa natives. Mr. Roni Dweck, Israel Prize Laureate for Lifetime Achievements, Special Contribution to Society and the State for the year 2025, born in Haifa, a businessman, a social entrepreneur, and philanthropist who has dedicated his life to creating social change and building bridges between communities. He had led major initiatives such as Zionism 2000 and Shitufim, advancing personal and communal responsibility, as well as collaboration between the public, business, and social sectors. Alongside his extensive endeavors, he is also a close friend of Dr. Ner Oxman. I'm honored and excited to invite Dr. Ner Oxman on the stage.
Academic leadership, uniting technology and biology through design across various scales, including architectural design, urban design, product design, and fashion design, which has earned her international acclaim for her pioneering vision as inventor, architect, and designer, coining and advancing the field of material ecology and developing new ways of making that honor the grown and the made. For her dedication to the scientific and the sacred and her countercultural resolve to let the natural world guide the art of her technological work. For her emerging entrepreneurial body of work, pioneering novel design and manufacturing technology for biodegradable products, as well as her contributions to AI-driven master planning through ecological engineering. for her refusal to see the world as parts in isolation, for her faith in wholeness, for her peacefulness, her sensitivity and compassion as an antidote to the fractures of our time, for her insistence on love as a guiding force in the architecture of our shared future, and for her devotion to Israel and her generous support of the University of Haifa, Neri's motherland, reflecting her faith in young leadership and innovation as an enduring foundation for the promise of Israel and its northern region.
Dr. Ner Oxman, we kindly invite you to the podium to deliver your remarks.
שלום, סלאם, איזה מילים יפות. Thank you, Professor Gur Elroi, and for the governments, the Board of Governors, and the Presidential Committee at Haifa University, for bringing us together to recognize and to honor what I shall below portray as the triptych of love, unity, and hope. A personal thank you to Gur and his incredible team here for transporting me for a brief, ethereal moment into my city of the dove, my birthplace, Haifa, and for together with Maestro Safdi, working to build a resting place for my mother's legacy, Kikar Rivka, to design and to build in peace and to impact peace upon the builders, and to do so in one of my mother's best-loved places on Mount Carmel, under the pine trees overlooking the boundless sea. If there is one city in Israel that continues to preserve the taste of innocence and a shared existence, Tom, it is Haifa. Right here, Bahar Yarok Tamid, is where childhoods are made. It is right here where it all began for me. Tom in two readings, Hasof, Aval Gam Atmimut. I am grateful to be sharing the stage and life itself with a man who comprehends so deeply, Ki asher telchi elech, that my people are his people. The man for whom I am, an ezer kenegdo. Ezer, for yes, we are in it together, for all of it. Kenegdo, for Bill is a singularity, and my expressions are perhaps comprehended in multitudes. Yet we come together in the place where our despair, especially now, metamorphosizes into hope, striving to build a better, more meaningful space for conversation, community, and connection. And Emily Bronte, I had to quote this of hers, "Whatever our souls are made of, Bill, his and mine are the same." In reflecting upon the imagery of the right, and as I consider this evening's holders of the hood, Avnei HaMakom Shel Safdi, the Zionist marvels of Duek, along with the community of this very university, I cannot help but consider an emerging theme, and that is the theme of building and buildability. Rivka's parents were both builders of Haifa and its vivacity, and I wanted this evening to share a few transcripts from their journals, historical troves in their own right, which I was grateful to revisit during the long flight from New York to Tel Aviv. סבא היה מספר שהיה הולך ברגל ממינסק להדר הכרמל. באותו הזמן, בחורף של 1924, בוצעו במינסק מאסרים רבים, ואף אני נאסרתי. הייתי אסור במרתפי ה-GPO, משם הועברתי לבית הסוהר העירוני, אשר בו הודיעו לי כי נשפטתי ונידוני לגירוש. כך בעודי בן 17 יצאתי לדרך רבת ייסורים. את 300 הקילומטרים בין פישבק ואלמה-עטה הלכתי ברגל בחברת עשרות נידונים. באלמה-עטה שוחררתי וכאן התחלתי את חיי הגירוש. הגלות הוחלפה לי בזכות לצאת לארץ ישראל, וכך בדרך הנדודים הארוכה, דרך כל רוסיה, הגעתי לעיר מוסקבה, בסתיו כשלרגליי סנדלים, בהם בוססתי בשלג ובבוץ, ומשם נסעתי לאודסה, ומאודסה לכרמל. From the late 1920s to the late 70s, Yosef Edelman and his firm engineered and built a wide array of building types, residential and industrial. His taste and purpose to bring people together under one roof, the dining room of קיבוץ יגור being one of his masterworks. אודה על האמת שעד היום הנני מתפאר בחדר אוכל זה כיצירה נאה, אף שמאז תכנונו ובנייתו עברו יותר מ-45 שנים. חדר אוכל זה היה עבור המשק לא רק אולם לאכילה. המקום שימש להתכנסויות, להתעלות הנפש לחברי הקיבוץ. In addition to Yosef's arc of building, he was also a well-known educator at the Technion, the Haifa Institute of Technology, that I, many years later, had the honor of attending. ברצוני לציין את העובדה שהינני קשור עד היום בכל ישותי להוראה בטכניון, אמר סבא. אני רואה בעובדה זו מקור להתרוממות הרוח ולשאר נשמה. This phrase of my grandfather's, a peculiar melding of the words she'ar v'neshama, made me ponder. She'ar neshama, an elevated state of the soul. I dug deeper and discovered the doubling of this phrase to elevate the soul of those who have passed, those who have lost, whom we lost. שאר נשמה אינו ביטוי נפוץ, אך בהקשר של מנהגי האבלות והנצחה ביהדות, הכוונה היא לרוב לנר נשמה, נר המודלק לעילוי נשמת המת. שאר נשמה in two readings, to guide the soul of those we've lost, and to elevate the soul. This challenging duality of life and death, growth and decay, found a place in Miriam's life's work, Yosef's wife, my mother's mother, in Haifa. As Sabre, she was born in Israel, in Zichron, in Shfea actually. Yet a product of late modernity, like me, she gave birth in her 40s. Miriam was an educator in every bone of her being. She walked the Carmel with Bialik. She recited Agnon's poetry wherever she went, even in the kitchen. She prided herself with creating a channel of deep connection and intellectual fortitude with Abba Kovner, working to bring them home. In her case, it was the Holocaust kinder transports who ultimately made it back to Israel from the Holocaust. בשנת 1933, כשהייתה כבר מדריכה מרכזית ואהובה, אספה יחד עם חניכותיה, תלמידותיה, מפרחי הארץ, ייבשה אותם, ומודבקים על נייר בריסטול מצופה בנייר שקוף, יצאו הפרחים לדרכם, מלווים במכתבים, אל גימנסיה תרבות וילנה, אל נמנעים לא מוכרים. הפרחים והמכתבים הגיעו לידיו של דוקטור מרדכי זלינגר, שלימד בגימנסיה טבע וגיאוגרפיה, פחות של ליטא ויותר של ארץ ישראל. תלמידו אבא קובנר, המשורר והפרטיזן, כתב עליו לאחר פטירתו, איש שהאמין באמנותו ובייעודו של החינוך העברי, הוא היה זה אשר שחרר אותי הנער מהפחד לחשוב חשיבה עצמית. ואולי זה, חשיבה עצמית, זה כל החסד כולו. ואבא קובנר כותב, אפשר יגלו את הבקבוק ויקרא את את איגרתי ביום שאני לא אהיה בעולם. את הבקבוק לא שלחתי אלייך, זה קובנר לסבתא. החלומי נתקיים במכתב זה שבידייך. הכל הלך לפני, ורק מקרה שהוא לא נותר אחרי. גבירתי, הרבה דברים עובדים בעולם. קולו של אדם אפשר שמתקיים. ואפילו סקרן אני לדעת תוכנו של מכתב ילדות זה, ולראות את כתב ידי, מאז לא היה שיעננו לענות להזמנתך האדיבה, ולבוא אליכם באחד הימים, אלא הרצון לראות את המקום, שם חנה הכל שיצא לתומו ולא עבד. שאי תודה ובואי אכפילנה, מברכך אבא קובנר. This very exchange of letters between Vilna, Poland and Gimnasia Realit Haifa, Palestine, Palestina, של הזמנים ההם, reads as a love letter to that nebulous superimposition between Israeli identity and the practice of being Jewish, an archetype of belonging and a testament to the power of hope. During these impossible times of us praying to bring them home, this honorary doctorate stands as a humbling prompt for the work that lies ahead for me and for Bill. To build honorably, to hold the pain of others as our own, and to transform that pain into expressions of love, of unity, and of hope. To build together. תודה.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oxman, for your inspiring, truly inspiring words. Please remain on stage with me as I invite Dr. Ackman, President Al-Roi, Rector Professor Maroon, and all the esteemed supporters who took part in the hooding ceremony to join us for a group photo.
יום אחד זה יקרה, בלי שנרגיש משהו ישתנה, משהו ירגע בנו, משהו ייגע בנו, ולא יהיה ממה לחשוש. וזה יבוא, כמו קו חרוט על כף יד, זה יבוא, בטוח בעצמו, כאילו היה שם תמיד, חיכה שנבחין בו, וזה יבוא, אתה תראה, הידיים הקפוצות יתאחו, ולב השומר לא להיפגע, יפעם בקצב רגיל.
Thank you so much. Before we part, let us take a moment to send our heartfelt wishes for the safe return of the hostages, and for the well-being and the protection of all of our soldiers serving our country. May peace and safety be upon them, and may we see them reunited with their loved ones soon. Now, please rise as we conclude the ceremony with the singing of Atikva. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the University of Haifa, I thank you for joining us tonight. This concludes the honorary doctorate ceremony. Thank you and good night.